Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you probably saw from the thumbnail, I have some pretty exciting news. I am officially engaged. My now fiance Cesar proposed when we were on a family trip to New York City a couple weeks ago, and we were just so excited. So I figured I'd just do a little sit down video to kind of chit chat about the proposal and our overall plans for the wedding. So if you don't know, my now fiance Cesar and I have been together for about 4.5 years. We met while we were in college. We both went to Texas Tech. Then we were both able to move to the DFW area right after college, and we now live together with our 2 dogs. So this engagement has definitely been long awaited. Our families are so excited. They've gotten to know each other really, really well throughout the last few years, and they just cannot wait to celebrate us. So like I said, he proposed when we were in New York City a couple weeks ago. We were in New York City because my sister, who lives in London, was going to be back in the US for a while, and she wanted to take her boyfriend, who's also British, somewhere where he had never been before to kind of explore more of the US, and we decided to make it a big family trip and decided on New York City. There were quite a bit of us on this trip, so it was my sister and her boyfriend's parents, and then me and Cesar, of course, Cesar's parents, and then my dad and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's kids, as well as my dad's girlfriend's sister, her husband, and her mom. So quite a big group. It was so much fun. I've been to the city a few times before, but it was Cesar and his parents' first times there. They had so much fun, and it was just such an amazing trip. And it ended, of course, with the engagement. The engagement happened on the very last day of our trip. We had done the Met in the morning, and then coincidentally, one of my very best friends from high school lives in New York City, so we were able to meet up with her for an afternoon to walk around Central Park, and that was always Cesar's plan, to propose in Central Park. And so it was really nice that we could have both of our families there, as well as one of my best friends. And I am very type A. I had an entire itinerary planned, not only for the entire trip, but for our little walking tour over Central Park. And so I had a list of things that I wanted to check off. And so we're kind of going one by one to the different things in Central Park. And there's this one area I'd shown Cesar a few weeks ago that was in Central Park that I absolutely loved and I thought was gorgeous. And that was where he ended up proposing. Like I said, it was so nice because both of our families were there. They were able to get a ton of pictures and videos, and it just went so perfectly. I was wearing a beanie and gloves, which I was kind of mad about. I'm like, who told me to wear a beanie that day? My hair looked terrible, but what's done is done. And I think I was just so happy to get engaged that I really didn't care. So the details of exactly how we did it is, like I said, we were going to different places and taking pictures of all these different places around Central Park. And he was like, okay, like let's go over here and take a picture on this little dock, I guess you would call it, with a really pretty bridge and a really pretty view in the background. And so I was like, okay, like I said, we had been taking pictures all day, so I was like, whatever, didn't really think anything of it. And I noticed that he wasn't turning around, like we had to turn our bodies, obviously, to face the cameras, and he wasn't really turning his body, like he kept facing me, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I turn around, and every single one of our family members is standing around us, and they all had their phones and were just staring at us like this with the biggest smiles on their face. Every single person had their phones out. So that's when I kind of figured it out. And then he said a little speech, got down on one knee, of course, and proposed. I don't even remember exactly what he said. I think I was just so excited that it was happening and so in shock. I did have a little suspicion that he might have done it in New York, just because it was a family trip where both of our families were going to be. He also told me he was going to propose before his birthday in July, so I knew it was going to come spring, early summer, and then I figured New York would just be a perfect time to do it. But of course, I didn't know for sure, and I was completely caught off guard and so surprised and so happy. After the initial proposal, we went to go get some drinks, and then we had a nice dinner. My sister made a reservation for all of us to go to dinner afterwards, and she said she didn't do it on purpose, but the restaurant was gorgeous. It had flowers everywhere. It was decorated beautifully. The wait staff was so incredibly kind. They brought us champagne. They brought us a little dessert with a little candle. It was so sweet and so magical, and everything I could have asked for. Here is a closer up of the ring. It has a little hidden halo. I have this other ring in front of it just because it is a little big, so I just wear it so it doesn't fall off. I'm trying to also not show my nails because I just took off my full set of nails to try to regrow my natural nails, but I absolutely love my ring. I picked the ring out myself. Cesar did not do a single thing other than buy it, of course. This may be a little controversial, but if I'm wearing the same piece of jewelry every single day for the rest of my life, I'm picking it out. I think he would have done a great job if he had picked it out himself, but like I said, I'd rather have just picked it out myself, and I absolutely love it. It is the most gorgeous ring I've ever seen, and it was every single thing I wanted, obviously. We got it from Brilliant Earth. It is a lab-grown diamond, which was something that was important to me. I definitely wanted a lab-grown, and it's so nice because since we do live here in Dallas, there are 2 different Brilliant Earth physical stores that we can go to, so when we do go get it resized, that's where we're gonna go. And everyone we've talked to who has worked there has been so incredibly kind and helpful. And so I would definitely recommend going through there, or at least considering them if you are in the process of shopping for rings, since we did have such a great experience with them. So now I want to chit chat about the wedding itself just for a little bit. We're planning to have our wedding in December of 2026, so in December of next year. I personally have always wanted a longer engagement just so we have more time to wedding plan and kind of celebrate this time in our lives. And so we're having just about a 20-month engagement, which I think is perfect for us. We are having the wedding in El Paso. That's where I'm originally from. I double checked a million times with Cesar and his family just to make sure it was okay that we did have it in El Paso. Even though Cesar says that the entire wedding planning is up to me and he's fine with whatever I want, I definitely want to include him and his family in the decision-making process as much as possible. And obviously location is one of the biggest factors of a wedding, so I did want to make sure that I was completely fine with them. But they're so excited to have it in El Paso and really embrace where I'm from and kind of tie in a little bit of that El Paso culture into our wedding. Since Cesar and I are both Catholic, we're also doing a traditional Catholic mass wedding for the ceremony. And then we're having the reception at a hotel in El Paso afterwards. This hotel I have been to a million times and have been to quite a few events here. So I know the venue really well, and I know the ballroom where it's actually going to be very well. And coincidentally, Cesar has also been to this hotel, so he's been able to see it and approve. Especially since we don't currently live in El Paso, he definitely wanted to see the venue before we actually book it. And we were able to do a virtual tour, but it also helps that he's seen it in person. I also chose to do specifically a hotel on purpose. I don't know why, I've just always wanted to do it at a hotel. I think it's just a little bit more elegant and just makes it easier for all of our out-of-town guests to come and stay in El Paso, since only my family and a few of my friends are still in El Paso, but a majority of our guests are going to be coming in. So I just wanted to make it easy for our guests. It is going to be in December, like I said. El Paso doesn't get any super crazy winter, so I'm not really concerned about the weather, but both the ceremony and the reception will be indoors anyways. It is going to be a Christmas themed. Think classy Christmas, so deep reds, dark greens, and a lot of gold. I have wanted a Christmas wedding ever since I was in 6th grade, and so I'm so excited to finally make this dream a reality and start planning. I've already started working with a wedding planner in El Paso, and she has been amazing so far. She has answered all of our questions so thoroughly, and I'm really excited to continue to work with her. Since we are so far out from our wedding, there's only so much we can do right now. I think once we hit the 1-year mark, so December of this year, is when we're really going to kick planning into gear. But just a few things that we're going to be working on until then. We are having an official engagement party in late June, June 21st. So we just have the restaurant that's going to be at booked, and we just sent out invitations for that. Wanted to send them out around April, so just about now, just since a lot of people are starting to make their summer plans, so people can kind of take into consideration the date. And so I'm so excited to have our engagement party. We're having a lot of family and friends coming town for it, and it's going to be a blast. Another one of the first things that we have to start to work on is our wedding planner recommended to send out our save the dates this December, so December of 2025. Just because since we are having our wedding around the holidays, she said that the earlier that the save the dates get sent out, the better. So people kind of plan out their holiday plans for the following year. So she recommended to go ahead and do that a year in advance. Because we were having to send out our save the date so early, I need to start looking into some photographers for an engagement shoot. We want to do one here in Dallas that's in downtown Dallas, kind of like a chic city vibes. And then I think we want to do one out in White Sands, New Mexico, or in the El Paso desert to kind of give that naturey desert vibes and kind of, once again, tie in that El Paso theme to our wedding. But as you guys know, I am very type A, so of course I'm starting to look into more things than just those. And I bought a planning binder that I'm able to edit on Canva and starting to insert inspiration pictures. I got mine from mydigitaldarling.com, and it came with 3 different ones, which I love. I'm like, the more the better, the more information I have that I'm gonna need, the better. So I've loved playing with that a little bit. And of course, I've already started looking at dresses. I've known what kind of dress I wanted since I was in the 6th grade. Like I said, I've had this wedding planned forever, so I know exactly what I want. I'll probably officially go dress shopping in December. My sister is coming back into the country for Christmas, so while she's in the US, that's when we'll all go shopping. But in terms of the actual details of the dress, I want to keep those a secret, so it can be a surprise. Of course, my sister is going to be my maid of honor, and I have my bridal party picked as well. I'm in the process of making all of my bridesmaids boxes to officially ask them to be my bridesmaids, and so that will be its own separate YouTube video because I think they're going to turn out so super cute. I think that's it as of now in terms of the planning process and all the details that we have set up. But obviously I wanted to share this life update. Cesar and I are so excited to be at this part of our lives, and we're so excited for everything to come, and especially to share this excitement and this happiness with our family and friends. If you've made it to this part of the video, comment down below the coolest thing that you guys have seen at a wedding or any wedding recommendations that you may have for me, whether it be decor ideas, planning recommendations, literally anything, any advice I can get, I will take. But thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.